that everyone is doing his own duty. Never mind if you are Christian or if you are a Muslim or a Hindu, that what is your duty, what is said in your scripture. You must do it. Not that because it is secular, I can do whatever I like.
No, secular means, as I understand, not only if I am a Hindu, I do what a Hindu scripture teaches.
Secular and impartial.
Yes, but also not come in the way of a Muslim doing his own.
No, there is no need. Secular means government's duty is that you call yourself a Hindu, whether you are acting as Hindu. You call yourself as Muslim, whether you are acting as Muslim. This is government's duty. Government does not say or prefer that you are Christian, it is not good, you become Hindu. No, that is not government. You remain you are Christian. But government's duty is whether he is acting as Christian. This is government duty. Not that you are acting like something else and you are calling yourself Christian. You are acting like a Shudra and you are advertising yourself as a Brahmin. So, just like a, what is called quack. If he writes doctors, that is punishable. But you are quack, that's all right. You can take a certificate that you have got some experience. The registered medical practitioner, I think that is. But what is this? That you are proclaiming yourself? So, character means a class of men there must be, maybe very few, but they are actually men of character. Just like I am teaching them, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication. This is basic principle. Otherwise, where is this character? You are doing all nonsense and still you are proclaiming yourself as Brahman. This should be stopped. And a training college should be there, how to make a real Brahmin. I have given the example. If Vanaprastha college. Yes. That is the very essential thing at the present moment, that a class of men, just like the same example, if one wants to become an engineer, he must be properly trained. If he wants to become a medical man, he must be properly trained. Similarly, if one wants to become a Brahmana, then he must be properly trained up. Or, even if one does not want, the state should maintain a college where a real Brahmana is trained up. Just like Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, when he opened some higher studies of academic qualification, so there was one or two students and there are three professors drawing at least 1200 rupees per month. So 1200 rupees per month, that means 3600 expenditure. And the income is 36 rupees. It is not the question of money, but it is the question of culture. So even though at the present moment people are not inclined to become a Brahman, I tried it. I tried it before starting this movement. I tried to some friends that you have got 4 sons, give me 1 son. I shall train him how to become a perfect Brahmin. Nobody agreed. They said, Swamiji, Brahman ho ke kya hoga? ये सब भूखा मर रहा है. यही सब. But if there is not a ideal class of Brahmin, then how you can say that you become moralist? If there is no example of moralist, how you can ask people become moralist? That
There are two methods.
Ah.
One thing is a very intensive and completely dedicated course of making an individual a Brahmin, and particularly at the smaller age. Just now you have these boys and girls in that Kumari stage. Then the second thing is not that intensively, but in a very general way to all people.
all people.
No, four children, he said, one of them to be taken out and made a.
No, that I asked him.
Yes.
Actually, the idea is in the society, as it is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnang Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhaga. The gunas are there. Just like naturally, one is taking education just to become a politician. One is taking education how to become a high character, saintly person. That natural inclination is already there, but that is not being properly harnessed. Therefore, a regular educational institution should be there where proper training of Brahmana, proper training of Kshatriya, Vaishya must be there. These four divisions must remain there. And so far, the Brahminical culture, that must be there. Otherwise, you cannot say that you become moralist. Where is the example of moralist? A section of person must be there, fully moralist. That ideal section is now lacking. Therefore, what I have written, that
as there are different sections of educational institutions, there must be one institution, how to train up perfect Brahmins with ideal characters as above mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. If there is a section of people of ideal character, say 5%, the other 95% by seeing their example will follow. In other words, a section of the society must be of ideal character. That is essential.
Therefore, this Varnashram college is very essential.
Both intensive and extensive training.
Yes. Proper training. It may be extensive, intensive, doesn't matter.
No, you said 5% and 95%.
95% may remain non-Brahmin. But this 5%, if they are strongly Brahminical, then others will follow. Ekas chandas tamo hanti nachatara sahasra. You have got millions of stars. Nobody cares for them. But people are looking after when the moon will rise. When the moon will rise. That one moon is sufficient. Then millions of stars. So this is the suggestion. Then
the propagation of Manava Dharma. Regarding propagation of Manava Dharma means the activities of the human beings. So the distinction between Manava Dharma and Pashu Dharma is that in the animal society there is no idea of God consciousness. God consciousness can only be propagated in human society. In the animal society they may be physically stronger than the humans, like the tiger and the elephant or many such animals, but they cannot be educated spiritually.
they may be very strong.
Yes.
Or tiger and elephant, but they have no capacity to accept any education. Then
But in human society, even though one may be of a low-grade member of the society, he can be trained up to be purified as a first-class Brahmin. It only requires training. Therefore, Manava Dharma means to impregnate a human being with spiritual knowledge. A human being must be educated spiritually. That means he must know that he is not this body. Krishna teaches this idea in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. Denosmin yata dehe komaram yovanam jara tata dahantara praptir dhiras tatra namuyate. This is the beginning of spiritual education, that every one of us is not this body. Unfortunately, the whole world is in darkness, and therefore every human is identifying with this body and thinking wrongly, I am Indian, I am American, I am Brahmin, I am this, I am that. To drive away this misconception of life is actually Manava Dharma. You must know that we are not this body, but spirit and soul, and as such we are part and parcel of God, and therefore qualitatively one with God, exactly like a small particle of gold is also gold, as is the gold from the big gold mine. But quantitatively, the particle of gold is not equal to the gold in the mine. This is very elaborately described in the Bhagavad Gita, and if we accept these principles of Bhagavad Gita as Manava Dharma, then the whole world will appreciate. And this is being done by our Krishna consciousness movement. Point 5. Elements in our tradition relating to Dharma and Sanskriti, which are useful and wholesome, but are being discarded in practice, and those which may be considered to be unsuitable in the present times. Number 5. Regarding elements in our tradition relating to Dharma and Sanskriti,
This kind of understanding at the present time, of course we give reference, the present time everyone is fallen. But truth is always the same.
Yes.
Not at present time.
There are no variation.
Yes. So the real truth is that ideal man of character there must be. Because at the present moment there is no character, there is no moral education. Therefore we have to adapt according to them. No. The Pakka moralist, he must be moralist. It doesn't matter, the people at the present time, they do all immoral activities. Therefore, we have to adjust. No. Strictly one should be moralist. There is no question of present time or past time. That should be real point of view. Then?
Regarding the elements in our tradition relating to Dharma and Sanskriti, we must adopt the whole Varna and ashramas as they are recommended in all the Shastras. If you give up these directions of the Shastras, that is neither Dharma nor Sanskriti, at least in the Indian tradition. As it is directed in the Bhagavad Gita, that the 4 divisions of social and the 4 divisions of religious systems, like Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi, must be adopted. Otherwise, there is no tradition of Bharatiya Sanskriti.
If you give up this Varnashram Dharma, then where is your Bharatiya Sanskrit? But they are trying to give it up. Abolish this. Then where is Bharatiya Sanskrit? Then?
6. Injunctions of Shastras regarding charity and how it should be practiced in the present conditions. So the mutual relationship of Dharma and politics in the light of our history and tradition can only be revived when we observe the system of Varnashrama. It is actually like this. The Brahmin is like the head, and the Kshatriya is like the arms. The Vaishya is the stomach or the abdomen, and the Sudra is like the legs. Similarly, spiritually, the Brahmachari is the trained-up disciple, the Grihastha is a trained-up householder, the Vanaprastha is experienced as a retired gentleman, and the sannyasi is completely in the renounced order of life for spiritual advancement. There is no question of the head being in an exalted position without the cooperation of the leg. When there is a pinprick in some part of the leg, the head immediately takes it very seriously and takes out the thorn in some part of the leg. Similarly, whenever there is some outside attack, the arms of the hand spread to protect the whole body. In the same way, within the abdomen, there is the machinery of digesting foodstuffs, and after digestion, the secretion turns into blood, and it is infused throughout the whole anatomical structure of the body. Similarly, the cooperation between the head, arms, stomach, and legs is the perfect situation of the human society.
Coordination.
Coordination. Okay. As head is also trying to maintain the body nicely, this arm is also. Now this has been nationally centralized. So that is the idea. Not that because I am head, Brahmin, here is a Shudra, don't see his face. Why? Shudra is also required. Leg is also required, head is also required.
It is an harmonious coordination.
Yes, harmonious coordination. But the Shudras were hated like anything, and they became Mohammedans. And there was no reacceptance. Formerly, from Chaitanya literature, you understand that the Musalman will take little water from the badana and sprinkle like this, then you become Mahavira. In this way, all these Indians, they become Mahavira. And the result is, the Pakistan, and you go on fighting forever. Why these innocent persons were by sprinkling water became Mahamila? Why do you not claim? Krishna and the Shastra, it does not say that if one has fallen, you cannot reclaim him. No, why not reclaim him? Mangi partham vipasrita jipishu pavli. This is by birth. And of course, in our country, everything was taken by birth. Now it is going on. But even by birth, one is low grade.
Birth also was linked up with the tradition.
Yes.
They were brought up in that atmosphere.
Yeah,
They continue
it doesn't
to
matter.
remain
But
a Brahmin.
if he wants to be elevated, he should be given chance. That is the verdict of all Shastras. Now, we are feeling India, this difficulty, because they are Europeans, Americans, they so-called, the big societies, they are not agreeable to accept them. Although Shastra does not say so. Shastra says, Mang hi partha vipasritya jipishu papajuna. If one takes shelter of me, even he is born in Pap journey, Sriyavashyata Stevi Janti Parangati, they can also elevate it to the highest exalted position. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is many places it is said that a low-born person can be elevated. Chandalapi dijasashta hari
We have
bhakti
right
par.
example of Valmiki.
Valmiki. There are many.
Many examples.
There are many. Narad was a son of Medsan, Sudra. He had no father, Dashi Putra. And he became Narad. So where is the restriction? Similarly, in the Jabal Upanishad, Sattakam Jabal, he was also a prostitute son. And he approached Gautam Muni, kindly make me your disciple. And Gautam Muni said, what you want? I am my mother's son. That's all. That, who is your father? That I do not know. Ask your mother. The mother replied, my dear son, I do not know who is your father. And he came and said to Gautam Muni, sir, my mother also does not know who is my father. Then Gautam Muni said, yes, you are Brahmin. Come on, actually. Because speaking truth. Sir, unless you are a son of a Brahmin, you cannot speak such secret truth. Nobody will say that I do not know who is my father. It is social scandal, even up to that. But he plainly said that my mother does not know who is my father. So immediately Gautam Muni accepted him as Brahmin. You are telling the truth, Sattva Samadham, because it is first qualification. So, such a high cultural life, now we should take standard, Shastra, and follow and established educational institution to train them. Otherwise, simply by crying in the wilderness, what will be the result? Now, some result is there because I am practically training them. And before me, all these armies went, there is a lecture. That's all. So what is the meaning of lecture? Unless you train them. Yeah. Our Hindu religion is very great, very nice, and whatever you like you can do, it doesn't matter. Then what is the training? Now little effect is there because I am training them. As soon as one comes to me for becoming disciple, I place before him that you have to give up all these habits. When he agrees, then I accept it. Therefore, I have got some selected, trained up men. So there must be this training college, institution, and proper training according to the Shastra. Then there is possibility of changing the whole situation. Then what is next?
The injunctions of Shastras regarding charity and how it should be practiced in the present conditions. The injunction of the Shastra about charity is that charity should be given to qualified Brahmin or sannyasi because they will spend it for the benefit of the whole human society. This is called charity and goodness. In the Shastras,
just like we are getting charity, crores of rupees. But you are spending for this Krishna consciousness movement, not for drinking. And if charity is given to a drunkard, what he will do? He will drink only. Therefore, charity is recommended to be given to the Brahmana and the sannyasi, no other religion.
The apatradana.
Apatradana. That is third class. Gone?
This is called charity and goodness. In the Shastras, there is no recommendation for giving charity to the unqualified men. In this connection, I am enclosing a copy of one chart reproduced in our Back to Godhead. Charity. In ignorance.
You see, I have written one article in our Back to Godhead. I am quoting from it.
In ignorance, performed at an improper time and place to an unworthy person like a gambler or drunkard, or contemptuously without respect. Charity and passion, performed to get something in return with a desire for fruit of results or in a grudging mood. Charity and goodness, performed as a duty at the proper time and place to a worthy person and with no expectation of material returns. And charity and pure goodness, performed only to satisfy the Supreme Lord. In the Shastras, charity in passion and ignorance is completely rejected, although people do it unconsciously. Charity and goodness only is recommended. Point 8. Proper and beneficial use of the income and property of the institutions, and how far the policies of the government and the exercise of its authority in this behalf are just and proper. Srila Rupa Goswami was the chief minister of the government of Nawab Hussain Shah. He gave us a good example how to divide the property in the society. 50% of the income must be spent for Krishna. 25% of the income should be spent for family, and 25% should be kept in reserve for emergency expenditure. Spending 50% of the income for Krishna means for the whole society by encouraging the Krishna consciousness movement. The role of the Manava Dharma Parishad. I think that if the Manava Dharma Parishad takes these suggestions of mine very seriously, certainly it will be of great benefit to the Indians and the whole world. The Krishna consciousness movement is going on this principle, and if the Parishad inaugurated by you cooperates with us, certainly we can render a very great service to the human society. So far Manava Dharma is concerned, it should not be restricted within the Indian borders, because human beings are in all parts of the world. The Manava Dharma mission, its constitution and program. Therefore, the constitution of Manava Dharma, or the institution of Varnashrama, must be interesting for the whole world, and it should be exemplified by practical demonstration. The immediate program should be village organization, as Mahatma Gandhi contemplated. In India, the majority of the population is in the villages. The difficulty is that there is no sufficient supply of water to produce food grains. Mother Nature, or Mother Durga, punishes the godless demons by restricting the supply of food grains. The godless demons are very enthusiastic to produce motor cars, skyscrapers, brothels, and cinemas, and many unnecessary demands of the body. The They are not interested in producing food grains. This is the defect of the modern society. If food grains are produced in an organized way, the human society can produce 10 times what they are presently producing. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed, Anad bhavanti bhutani paranjayadana sambhava yajnad bhavanti parajano yagna karma samudbhava. I hope you will give your serious consideration to my suggestions, and I am prepared to cooperate with you to my best capacity if you think my suggestions are right.
This suggestion is to you also.
Yes.
And if you can do these things organizedly, certainly it will be beneficial to the whole human society.
Any elaboration of what you refer to as Vanapastra College?
Varnashram.
Vanapastra College.
Varnashram. But Vanaprastha, just like we have got this building, now if somebody retires and engages himself in Krishna consciousness movement, they are welcome. They can take prasadam and stay here. It is not possible at the present moment that gentlemen will live in the forest. That is not possible. Here is a place, Vrindavan, holy place. We have constructed this building. And people should take Vanaprastha, retirement, and may come here and live peacefully and cultivate spiritual knowledge.
I think the governor was asking about the Varnashram College.
Varnashram College, the training, factual Brahman. And the government should be, as I explained to you, that if one is proclaiming himself as a Brahmana, he must act as a Brahmana. If one is proclaiming as a Kshatriya, he must act as a Kshatriya. Otherwise, there will be no restriction. And a Shudra will claim to be Brahman. That will create a disturbing situation. In Prithvi Maharaja's time, it was strictly prohibited. That is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Sadharme nidhanasre, haradharma bhaha. So, if one is claiming to be Brahmana, he must become Brahmana. There is another way of reforming the society. Nowadays, everyone is a Shudra, and somebody is claiming I am Brahman, I am Kshatriya, and this and that. Formally, the Brahmanas strictly following. They would not accept. In the Shastra it is said that a Brahmana in bad time may become a Kshatriya, just like Dronacharya, he was Brahmana,
Yes.
but he became a Kshatriya for certain reason. Acting like Kshatriya, although he was respected as Brahmana, but he was acting as a Kshatriya. So it is advised that Brahmana may take the profession of a Kshatriya and up to the Vaishya. But if he takes the profession of a Shudra, then he is gone. Then he is gone. So, this cultural institution should now be introduced, and the other countries, they are still respectful to the Indian culture. That's a fact. I have studied. So if we keep ourselves in our, what he has mentioned, Sanskriti, Bharatiya Sanskriti, it will be very respectfully accepted. Why should we imitate them? That is Western civilization is not Brahminical culture. There is no Brahminical culture. And a Brahminical culture is needed. That is the head, that is the brain and a little bit of this Brahmin culture because I am distributing, and they are accepting it so nicely. So in our India, in a place like Vrindavan, Naimisaranya, like that, many people come. A Varnashram college is established. Of course, we in India, so far I know, nobody will come to be trained now as a Brahmin. They will prefer to be trained now as an electrician and not as a Brahmin. And our Bon Maharaj, he also tried for a Vaishnava university. He was unsuccessful.
No, we take, you see, electrician or engineer or a
No,
doctor.
that is already being taken. There are institutions where electricians are trained up and motorists, they are enough.
No,
But they,
what I submit from this, an electrician, we take him. He is an electrician and also becoming a Brahmin.
no,
An engineer.
no, that cannot.
You want completely a Brahmin.
Yeah, then there will be an ideal character. That is going on. One man is claiming I am Brahma, but is doing the work of electrician. That is already going on.
No, but while doing his profession,
Huh?
if he has good influence of the Varnashram Dharma,
Hmm.
of the Brahmin, and then he will do the work with the dedication to God and to the society.
No, why you are suggesting that although he is a Brahmin, he become an electrician? Why?
I will put it this way. He is an engineer, but I would also like him
Engineer?
to be a mechanical engineer.
Yeah,
And he also be influenced by the good points of Varnashram Dharma.
yes, that is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Sakarmana tamabhaj samsiddhi labate nana. That is another way. That I have no other means of earning livelihood. But if he becomes Krishna conscious, then even though he is acting as an electrician, he is in touch with Krishna. That is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita. Sakarmana tamam bhaj. That I have explained in the Varnashram Dharma. That even though leg is leg, it is not as important as the head. But the leg is also required to keep the body in healthy condition. So that electrician who has a connection with Krishna, he is no more electrician, he is Vaishnava, because he has got his relationship with Krishna. So that is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Find out. Sakarmana tamabharcha samsiddhi labati nara. You can get perfection.
Sakarmana.
Tam abharcha. SVA, swa.
SVA.
Swa.
Fine literature, Swami. Well, keep up with your fine.
Svakarmana tvam vyarchaya siddhim vindati bhanava. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection.
That is there. What is the purport?
As stated in the 15th chapter, all living beings are fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. As such, the Supreme Lord is the beginning of all living entities. It is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadasya Yataha. The Supreme Lord is therefore the beginning of life of every living entity, and the Supreme Lord by his two energies, his external energy and internal energy, is all-pervading. Therefore one should worship the Supreme Lord with his energies. Generally, the Vaishnava devotees worship the Supreme Lord with his internal energy. His external energy is a perverted reflection of the internal energy. The external energy is a background, but the Supreme Lord, by the expansion of his plenary portion as Paramatma, is situated everywhere. He is the supersoul of all demigods, all human beings, all animals, everywhere. One should therefore know that as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, it is his duty to render service unto the Supreme. Everyone should be engaged in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness. That is recommended in this verse. Everyone should think that he is engaged in a particular type of occupation by Rishikesha, the master of the senses. And by the result of the work in which he is engaged, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna should be worshipped. If one thinks
Being electrician, whatever he earns, he engages in worship Krishna. Then he's transcendental. He's not an electrician, he's a Vaishnava. This is clearly said. Yeah. Then?
One thinks always in this way in full Krishna consciousness, then by the grace of the Lord, he becomes fully aware of everything. That is the perfection of life. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Teshamaham samudharta. The Supreme Lord himself takes charge of delivering such devotees. That is the highest perfection of life. In whatever occupation one may be engaged, if he serves the Supreme Lord, he will achieve the highest perfection.
So, some of the big men, past politicians like Nandaji, they are also thinking very nicely. Now it is the time to coordinate all these thinkers on the basis of Bhagavad Gita as we are pushing on this Krishna consciousness movement. That should be seriously taken. Another difficulty is that without any reference to the Shastra, there are so many spiritual propagandists. And that is not very good. That is not very good. Not good at all. No question of very good. They are more or less atheist. They will not accept the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita. They will manufacture their own way. That will not help us. You must take the standard things, then it will be successful. In my this propaganda, this Krishna consciousness, I am very much satisfied that I did not adulterate any instruction of the Shastra. And it is becoming very effective. And in the Bhagavad Gita also it is stated, Jasastra vidhi utsitya pratyati kama karma. Find out this one. Jasastra vidhi utsitya. Ja, yes.
Y-A?
Y-A-H.
Y-A-H.
Jasastra.
Jasastra Vidhim.
That's that one. This index has been done by them. Yes.
Jasastra Vidhim Utstrijya Vartate Kam Karata Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti Nasukamna Paramgati. But he who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. As described before, the Shastra Vidim, or the direction of the Shastra, is given to the different castes and orders of human society. Everyone is expected to follow these rules and regulations. If one does not follow them and acts whimsically according to his lust, greed, and desire, then he will never be perfect in his life. In other words, a man may theoretically know all these things, but if he does not apply them in his own life, then he is to be known as the lowest of mankind. In the human form of life, a living entity is expected to be sane and to follow the regulations given for elevating his life to the highest platform. But if he does not follow them, then he degrades himself. But even if he follows the rules and regulations and moral principles and ultimately does not come to the stage of understanding the Supreme Lord, then all his knowledge becomes spoiled. Therefore, one should gradually raise himself to the platform of Krishna consciousness and devotional service. It is then and there that he can attain the highest perfectional stage, not otherwise. The word kama charata is very significant. A person who knowingly violates the rules acts in lust. He knows that this is forbidden, still he acts. This is called acting whimsically. He knows that this should be done, but still he does not do it. Therefore he is called whimsical. Such persons are destined to be condemned by the Supreme Lord. Such persons cannot have the perfection which is meant for the human life. The human life is especially meant for purifying one's existence, and one who does not follow the rules and regulations cannot purify himself, nor can he attain to the real stage of happiness.
So, arrangement is just see.
Yes.
We can go.
लास्ट मंथ में आप गए थे